The Rangers defeat the Florida Panthers 4-3. And this was a game that was really largely, um, let's just put it this way. The kid line was the story of the game. And I've been complaining, not complaining, but I've been critical of them in terms of production, while also acknowledging that I think that the minutes should be more than what they've gotten. They were the key catalysts in this game. Chytil, Kakko, Lafreniere each have a goal and an assist. And the Rangers got off to a really shitty start. It was a bad first period. It was, I guess you could compare it to Carolina, a little bit different, but Rangers, they were trailing 2-0 after the first, and they were outshot 12-3. So, but it's good and it's bad. The Rangers show that they can, when they turn it on, it's just different. And so from periods 2 forward, the Rangers were the much better team. And this is against a Florida Panther team that, again, like, they really needed these points. Really needed these points. They are right in a battle for one of those last 2 Eastern Conference playoff spots. And so this loss definitely hurts the Panthers to get nothing out of it when they had a 2-0 lead into 1. As well, Yaroslav Halak was in net, as I suspected was possible. I wasn't sure if he was going to play in this game or if he was going to go in the Columbus game on Tuesday, but they went with Halak here, which makes sense. And, Halak did a nice job. 31 saves on 34 shots. Maybe one of the goals he'd like to have back, but really made some key saves down the stretch. Ryan Lindgren out again, which to me makes a lot of sense. So it's been the same lineup. And in this one, when you look at the ice times, another, and even more so, heavy on the top 4 with the defense. Not a whole lot of Harper and Schneider. Not a whole lot. And it's a pair that you kind of want to avoid as currently constituted. And, when Lindgren does come back, it'll make things better to move Mikkola down. Because Mikkola has been a lot better lately. Again, Mikkola was a pretty big part of that trade. And he's taking less penalties. And he's been that Mikkola-Fox pair has actually been pretty good. It was a pretty consistent, solid pair tonight. Whereas Miller and Trouba definitely had its ups and downs as a pair. But all really, that top 4 were used a lot. The top 6 for the Rangers, it wasn't really a great night for them. And there was a line tweak, which I don't quite agree with. Kreider and Panarin were switched. So now it is Kreider, and this is what it had been previously. It's now Kreider, Zibanejad, Tarasenko, Panarin, Trocheck, Kane. I just don't think Panarin and Kane together is a good thing. And, I hope this is temporary, but I don't agree with that. But we shall see whether it stays that way. I guess I'm going to assume that it probably does. But again, that kid line really was the story of the night. And it was good to see because, the results haven't quite been there, but really all 3 of them were buzzing around. Not only was it honestly just looking good, but the results were there too. So, Halak versus Bobrovsky, and, Florida's coming off of a loss to Toronto. Rangers, of course, coming off of the win against Carolina. And Florida definitely was the hungrier, better team in the first period. And, early, the Rangers get a power play. And again, that Ranger power play still is a struggle. It still is definitely a struggle. They go 0 for 3 tonight, and I just, I want to find that right mix. And I think separating Panarin and Kane is the right thing to do, even on the power play. As I know the whole reason that Kane was brought in was kind of for the 2 of them to play together, but that to me is a central issue. But so Eric Staal trips Braden Schneider to 229, but the Rangers don't score. Florida kills that off. Then Florida scores. It's a goal by Barkov at his 19th goal of the season from Duclair and Forsling. And this is a puck that was kind of loose in front. Halak didn't see it. Barkov finds it and scores the goal. So Barkov gives the Panthers 1-0 lead. Gallant challenges for offside, but the call on the ice would stand. And so the Rangers are actually called for a penalty. It was a close call. And I understand why Gallant challenged. Went for the challenge, but it didn't work. And so it's a goal for Florida and a penalty on the Rangers, but the Rangers kill that off. So, as to me, as poor or as underwhelming as the power play has been, I don't care what the stats say, the penalty kill on the flip side has been really good lately. The PK has been good, and the Rangers kill that penalty right there. However, at 14:46, it's a goal by Ryan Lomberg his 11th goal of the season, assisted by Mark Stahl. And this was one where, Panarin turns the puck over a couple of times. And this is probably one that it might have deflected in off of Harper, but it's one that Halak may want to have back just because it was kind of from distance, bad angle, but it goes in. And again, Panarin, with some bad turnovers, and maybe that was in part why the lines were eventually changed. But Florida takes a 2-0 lead there. I should also mention before that Patrick Kane takes a hooking penalty. And so, was it Kane or was it Trocheck? I could have sworn it was Trocheck, but maybe it was on Kane. Either way, the Rangers had killed that off, and then Florida scored. And then after the Florida makes 2-0, Lomberg is called for a penalty, but the Rangers power play does not score. So it's a 2-0 Florida lead going into the second. And then in the second, Rangers outshoot the Panthers 22-9, and they score a couple of goals to tie it up. It starts out with a penalty by Mark Stahl. He trips Jacob Trouba at 4:13. But again, that power play for the third time doesn't score. Shortly thereafter, it's a kind of a greasy goal by Kakko, and we've seen a little bit of that lately. And going to the net, 14th goal of the season from Chytil and Lafreniere. Chytil made the play. Chytil is, out of the three, Chytil's the most impressive. He just is. He is fun to watch. There's speed, there's flash, there's, that's just what it is. And Kakko, I guess it was kind of similar to Barkov's goal, where it's just kind of loose in front. Bobrovsky doesn't see it. Kakko scores. And then later in the period, at 18:15, the kid line scores again. And this time it's Lafreniere. Really nice move by Lafreniere. And a nice pass by Trouba, too. It's Lafreniere's 15th goal of the season from Trouba and Mott. So I guess, this was kind of a line change going on between the fourth line to the third line. And Lafreniere scores. Again, a nice, backhand goal to tie the game at 2. We go to the third, and at 1:22, Patrick Kane. Patrick Kane scores his 20th goal of the season with Rangers and Blackhawks combined. And with the Rangers, it's his 4th goal in his 12th game. So that's not bad when you look at it that way. It was a fluky goal. It just was. Some of the Patrick Kane goals this year, at least 2 of the 4 he's had as a Ranger, maybe 3, but at least 2, have been pretty damn fluky. But hey, maybe that's just a Patrick Kane skill, but it goes off of Verhaeghe's stick. Kane just kind of, I don't even think he was looking at the net, but it goes in. And with that goal, I believe Patrick Kane I think he's now in second for U.S. all-time in U.S. points in his career, and that was his 450th goal. So some milestones there for Patrick Kane, and so the Rangers then take a 3-2 lead. And then Aaron Ekblad just kind of flubs, or the puck kind of trickles by him, and onto the stick of Filip Chytil, who scores. Chytil scores his 21st goal of the season, assisted by Kakko. Kakko kind of dumped it in. Ekblad didn't get it. Chytil goes in and scores past Bobrovsky. It's 4-2 Rangers. However, 42 seconds later, Barkov scores again. It's Barkov's 2nd goal tonight, his 20th goal of the season from Verhaeghe. And now it's 4-3 at this point. But the fourth line was on for that goal for the Rangers. But it's 4-3, and the Rangers do it. Look, the Panthers had chances. 6-on-5, and Halak made some good saves, but the Rangers do a nice job. And the Rangers, they've been tied a lot going to the third, and they usually get the job done only in 2 occasions, and I want to say the number, because it's a lot. It's, in terms of how many games they've been tied going to the third, it's at least 15 to 20. I think it's somewhere in that range, give or take. And the Rangers have only lost twice in regulation in those instances. So sure, there's been some overtime / shootout losses, but they're usually winning those games. And so that's a good thing. So the Rangers, kind of like the Carolina game, where as the game progressed, it got better. And we've seen that for the most part for the Rangers. Not all the time, but for the most part. And it was nice to see really the kid line come through. Jaromir Halak makes timely saves and helps the Rangers win. And that's a tough loss for the Florida Panthers, no doubt about it. So now, as I'm recording this, Carolina is up 2-0 against Toronto end to 1. Devils, Senators tied 1-1 end to 1. And so now, the Ranger-Devil race is interesting. As I've stated, I don't think home ice in that series is all that important compared to some other potential matchups. But the Rangers are now 2 points back of the Devils, and the Devils have a game in hand. Now, mind you as well, the Rangers play New Jersey Thursday at the Prudential Center. And that game will likely, especially if it's finished in regulation, doesn't go to overtime, will likely go a long way in determining which team maybe finishes ahead of each other. So, give the Rangers credit for kind of crawling back into it as far as the Devils are concerned. Carolina still, with that loss to Carolina on Tuesday night, in regulation especially. It kind of, to me, it took them out of that equation. But for the Devils, it's there to be had. It really is. And so, would I want home ice? Yeah, I would. I don't think that it's worth fighting tooth and nail over if it's close down the stretch. But of course, you'd like to have Game 7, at your home arena. And so we'll see how that goes. But again, the Rangers beat the Florida Panthers, namely the kid line, that really is the ones that get it done. They go to Florida, they beat the Panthers, they sweep them. They win all 3 games versus the Panthers this year. They win this one 4-3.